Hi, everyone. Come on in, take a seat. This is actually, we're pairing this with a cup of tea because what's better than a cozy and a cup of tea?
I'm having a hot chocolate because if I have tea right now, that's it. I'm up all night. I'm up all night anyway.
My daughter, I actually put her in charge of making my tea, and she was like, "What kind do you want?" And I was like, Earl Grey, and then I was like, "Oh no,
sleepy
no,
time,
no.
sleepy time tea."
So I actually love this brand. It's called Puka, and it's chamomile, vanilla, and manuka honey. And so it's actually become like my most favorite, like calming down tea. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So wow. I was for the book that the fourth book in this series, I was looking at, teas because they have all flavors and all variety and everything. And I came across one that has notes of caramel. And I'm like, you had me at notes of caramel. Add the cart. Get in my basket. Yeah,
I'm
it's
a
delicious.
tea lover, so I'm
a
total sucker for.
I will send you a link to it's like something in Sons, Party and Sons, or something like that. I can't remember. And it comes in a beautiful tin, So I'll send you a link, Samantha. I'll send you a link.
Please do.
You would love it.
We're total geeks for a good cup of tea. I got a tea kettle for Christmas, a little tiny one, and my kids think it's so cool. They can make their tea so quickly, and they like just push the little lever, and it's adorable for them.
Adorbs.
All right, guys, we'll stop talking about tea because I'm totally geeking out. Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Samantha Hendricks. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So many of you have already joined us. That's wonderful. If you want to let us know where you're watching from, you can enter that in the chat function. And any questions you have this evening, you can put them there or in the Q&A. There's little toggles at the bottom of your screen on Zoom that you can look for, and that's where we'll look for those. So it looks like, hi, Deborah from Toledo, Ohio. Wonderful. I have a lot of family in Ohio too. And Sherry's watching from Colorado. She says a puppy, and I don't know what that's in response to. But unless my dog barked, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that was Emmy.
Oh, okay.
Emmy's guarding. We're 3 floors up and she's guarding the space, making sure no dog comes within a half mile.
Yes. Oh, a puppy rather than tea. Oh, that you can cozy with a puppy. Yes, that would be that's a fantastic idea. I love that idea. Linda from Albuquerque, Grayling. Oh, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Samantha Hendricks. As I mentioned, I am the event coordinator here at Schuler Books and Nicola's Books in Ann Arbor. We have stores in Grand Rapids and Okemos as well. So tonight, we're cozying up with a cup of tea. And we're going to talk about Coached in the Act with Victoria Laurie. Now, Victoria joined me at the beginning of the pandemic as one of the first handful of authors we did virtually. And unfortunately, now we're back virtually.
We thought it was going to be so yesterday, right?
Yeah, we didn't say.
Over tomorrow.
We thought this next time would be in person, but you know what? We'll take what we got. We're very
fortunate. What is that like? My summer plans, Delta, one of those memes, right?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
We are that meme. We're the living embodiment, Samantha, of that meme.
My life is fully in that meme. So I'm going to ask Victoria a few questions that I've got in the hopper, but I am seeing questions from you guys coming through already. Continue to do that. Let me know what questions you've got and we'll ask away. So if you're not familiar with Victoria Laurie, Victoria is a real life psychic.
Get out.
Also the New York Times bestselling author of The Psychic Eye Mysteries, The Ghost Hunter Mysteries, and The Life Coach Mysteries. And she lives in suburban Michigan and can be found online at victorialaurie.com. So Victoria, thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
My pleasure. Are you kidding? What else would I want to do on a Monday night?
Nothing but
other than drink.
I know.
Other than a glass of wine.
I know. We should have had something else in these beverages, unless there's something else in your beverage. I messed out.
No, I'm good. It's all good. It's all good, right? I have a long run tomorrow. I have to go fast tomorrow, so this is better. Hot chocolate's better. Good for the soul.
It is, and it's cozy, and it's getting to be that time of year, to be honest with you, where we want these types of stories, first of all.
Right.
And we need something cozy to drink. So why don't you start and share a quick synopsis about Coached in the Act?
It's a book I wrote. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so Coached in the Act. Coached in the Act. I don't really remember where I came up with the idea. I think there was a reference. Someone had a reference to the movie 12 Angry Men, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to take just the title of that and turn it into something contemporary, and then twist it a little bit more and turn it into a murder mystery. So I pitched to my editor, and he was like, "Do it!" Like, boom. It wasn't even there wasn't even a discussion. It was like, yes. And I thought, well, this is a really great idea. I'm so excited. There'll be 12 suspects. And then I started getting into it, and I'm like, oh my God, there are 12 suspects. What was I
overwhelming.
thinking? Yeah. So basically, the story starts out with Cat and Gilly attend one woman show, a live show at the local theater. It's the rave of the town because the woman Yolanda Galanis has dated her way through East Hampton's elite, and she's spilling secrets about every man that she dated without naming the man. So there are most humiliating kind of secrets she's telling the audience, and the audience gets to speculate who these men are. And so during intermission, Yolanis meets an untimely end. I know you're shocked by this. I know you're reeling. No, not her. Yes, her. So then Cat and Gilly decide, well, let's solve this murder mystery, because one of Cat's clients, she's a life coach, one of Cat's clients is of course accused and arrested for the murder, and Cat wants to set him free. She doesn't believe he did it, and then hijinks ensue. So that's it in a nutshell. But it's a fun book. It's a fun book. I actually had fun. So this is the story of the book. So I am known as Last Minute Laurie, okay, because I watch deadlines fly by, and I'm like, oh, hello, bye.
They're just
I'm
guidelines.
writing a lot of
really.
stuff. I'm writing a lot of stuff. Yeah. So deadline schmedline is kind of my one line. So deadline was approaching, and I think it was like the last time I could push it. And I was like maybe not even 2/3, but I was a little over halfway done with the rough draft, and it was not working. Like I said, 12 suspects, right? And it was just like this crazy juggling act. It wasn't making sense. So I chucked it all. It's a week. I had a week, and I'm like, well, I'll just let my fingers fly. I wrote it in a week, and I turned it. I didn't even proofread it. I just turned it in. And I called my agent. He knew what was going on, and he's like, you're killing me. He's like, you're killing me. And he's thinking like it's going to have all sorts of editorial notes, and I'm going to have to rip half of it out again and fix it and everything. And we get a couple weeks later, we get a note from my editor, and he's like, I have no editorial changes. It's going to copy edit. And I'm like, yes. And my agent was like, I don't know whether to be happy or upset because I know you're going to do this again. And I'm like, no, I'll never do it again. I will do this again. This will happen again.
I love
Guaranteed this will happen again. Yeah.
That's amazing. In 1 week. I'm assuming there was little sleep and little eating involved in that week.
Well, I ate. I just didn't shower.
Okay.
It was pandemic. No one knew. No one knew. No one can smell you over Zoom. It's fine. You just wear a hat everywhere. I
love it.
Your mask is like this. It's a total face mask. Yeah, that was really hard. That was really hard. I actually had a blister on my pinky. I had a blister on one of my fingertips just from typing. It was so crazy. It was so crazy. Your body, if when you write like that, when you write 90,000 words in a week, you're hunched over, right, the keyboard, and there's a lot of stress. You've got to, you just got to keep going. And it's amazing kind of what happens to the body in that kind of position for a week solid. But I got it in, snuck it in. Like at
here we are.
4:50, at 4:58 too. Like he needed it by the end of the day on a Friday, and I was like, okay, 4:58. It got in. It's under the wire. Last minute, Laurie rides again.
I mean, I'm a procrastinator, but man, that's close.
And the thing is, Samantha, I really didn't procrastinate. I was really trying to move this thing along.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I let the deadlines go, right? Because that's me. But no, I was plugging away at it. It really was not working. It wasn't working.
Yeah.
And when it's not working. I mean, it's just kind of like, you're thinking like, huh? Like what? Where? So it really did need to be ripped apart and redone.
I'm always just so impressed by that. I think it's an amazing talent to be able to do things like that quickly. So, well,
and I thank you for that. I thank you for that. I actually had a conversation with a guy I'm seeing, and we were talking about that because he's very analytical, and I'm very, story time. And he's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I'm just hardwired. Like my brain is just hardwired to do that. I don't look at it as like talent. I look at it as like, how else would my brain? It's like someone who is super musical, right? I'm not super musical at all. Although I'm ordering a drum set. I want to learn how to play the drums. My poor neighbors.
Awesome.
Oh well. Yeah, I want to like bang on drums. I think that would be so much fun. They're electronic, so you can like wear headphones and just you hear like little
awesome.
taps.
That's considerate for your neighbors, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to get fined or anything, eviction notice, get out. Yeah, but like someone who's musically inclined, their brain just as hardwired, right?
Mm-hmm.
To think of music, to think of notes. So I think true writers are kind of like that as well. We can't not tell a story. Like I can't even imagine not. I don't know what would happen.
I'm glad you did it, and I'm glad you had a pandemic to do it during, because I'm sure that helped too. We have a few people that have questions for you. First, I want to ask you, what brought you to writing this series with Cat?
I really wanted to do a spinoff with Gilly and Cat because I really loved those characters and how serious they are about and earnest they are, but they always mess it up. Like wherever they go, disaster follows. And I just think that is they're their own foils, and the fact that Cat has literally tens of millions of dollars at her disposal just makes her even more of a wreck, a wrecking ball. She can go through life and just pay money and no consequence, without consequence. And I felt that she was a little bit on the flat side in the Abby Cooper series. She was always driving Abby insane. And you only had a sense of Cat through Abby's personality. So it was Abby's view of Cat is how she was interpreted. And I wanted to take you away from that and have Cat be the voice of her own interpretation. That there's a deeper, richer kind of person inside there. Yes, she throws money around. She doesn't really think about consequences. She's a hot mess most of the time. She doesn't take no for an answer ever. And Gilly just kind of enables her. So it's a terrible combo, but it's adorable. So that's what I really wanted to bring these two together and let hijinks ensue and chaos follow. And I didn't think I would love this series, honestly. I thought, well, I'll do it for the money. I didn't think I'll dial it in, but I thought, I don't know that I'm going to like this. And I have fallen madly in love with these two characters and the whole story, the whole story arc, the whole direction. I really love these characters. I really look forward to writing them, honestly. It's fun.
Aww. All right, we have some questions from viewers. Sorry, I wanted to get all the way to the top because you guys are asking away. That's awesome. Cecilia D'Arc is asking, Victoria, do you use your medium skills while writing?
Nope. Nope.
Easy
Nope.
as that.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. No, there's like, psychic mode for me is a switch. Writing mode for me is a switch. The two don't intersect. There's no sense of another voice in my mind or another presence ever. There just isn't. It'd be cool if they would come in and like be like, like, I'm going to take over your body. That would be awesome. I'd be like, come on in. But yeah, no, it's just me. It's all me. Sorry.
Deborah Purse is asking, what positive has come out of this pandemic for you?
Oh gosh. Honestly, quite a few. I have I used to do readings only by phone because I thought I don't want to get judged up. Like, my hair's erect tonight. I'm like, well, okay, I'll throw on makeup. Maybe nobody will notice. I just didn't want to be seen. I wanted to kind of do my thing. If I wanted to do readings in my pajamas, that's what I wanted to do. Well, then Zoom comes along, right? Because of the pandemic. And I'm like, well, this is really cool. And I started doing readings by Zoom and I love it. I absolutely love seeing my clients. The connection is much, much stronger. And I don't know why. Because I don't look at them when I'm reading them. I'm usually like turned over here. I'm looking at the side. I don't want to be thrown by their facial expressions. So, but for some reason that connection is stronger. So it's like pulling berries off a tree. It's really easy. Whereas before it was work. It was harder. So that's one positive. Another positive is I learned how to Olympic weightlift finally. I'd always wanted to learn how to properly haul weights around. And I couldn't get anybody to teach me. And then the pandemic hit and I found a British Olympian in the UK who's a phenomenal coach, absolutely phenomenal coach. So I Zoom with her 3 days a week. So I learned how to do that. And a year of solitude kind of off by yourself for someone like me, there's a lot of kind of creative juices that percolate, So I think I came out of the pandemic with a ton more stories and different ways to try and tell them. So I think that the pandemic kind of forced me out of my comfort zone in a big way creatively. And I'm just starting to see that unfold. So those have been some positives for me. Like, it sucks that we've got a pandemic and then we've got over 600,000 people that have perished, and who knows how many with lasting effects from COVID. Like, that's horrible. But for me personally, I was not affected, other than I had a few clients that lost their lives, unfortunately, or lost loved ones. And that was very, very, very difficult, especially in the beginning. But there were some positives. Honestly, there were some positives.
I feel like I want to ask you, I know, I want to ask you all these questions about your Olympic weightlifting. I just want to know, I live on the west side of the state and you cannot find female powerlifters or weight training. Okay.
So Michaela Breeze, I'll send you a link. Michaela Breeze.
Yes, please do.
She does Zoom classes 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. She is British, and she's got a catchphrase. And the catchphrase is, "It's not a fucking pool." And so I love I love going, "Hey, Michaela, it's not a fucking pool," all the time. I just say it all the time. She's like, "That's not my accent." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
I love it.
That's how it sounds over here. So yeah, so she is awesome. She's awesome. So yeah, anybody who wants to learn how to Olympic, and she'll teach you with a broomstick. If you have a broomstick, awesome. She'll teach you on a broomstick. Yeah. I mean, I'm now like, I want a Leico bar, and then the Leico is like the Ferrari of weightlifting bar. I have like 4 weightlifting bars, but the Leico, so it's in its own little like sleeve, and set somewhere where there's no humidity, don't touch it.
Oh yes. It's like
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Like golfers with golf clubs.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like, okay, for something like that, where you're hauling, 140 pounds overhead, you want the best equipment. You don't want that thing to break.
Nope, you do not.
That would be bad.
Definitely not.
That would be bad.
Yes, please send me that information. That was a sidebar. I'm sorry,
will.
guys.
Absolutely.
All right. You already answered that question. Okay. Cecilia would like to know about the rings that you're wearing and where you got them because they're gorgeous.
Okay, so there is a really, really dear friend of mine that I've had for 25 years. Owns a wholesale jewelry business called Bijou Jewelers. And he made these for me and this and a couple other pieces just for me. So they're unique, they're just mine. They are created opals. Oop, so you can see.
Pretty.
Yeah. And I really, I just love them. So as you can tell, because I flash them all over the place. Yeah, so like these are my, like I don't go anywhere without these three. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what they are. But if you want to look up Bijou Jewelers, Bijou, I believe it's Bijou is, I think it's French for jewels or something, jewelry or something like that. But they have I think they have a store now, an online store, based in, I think, Pasadena, California, I think, and then one here in Michigan. So yeah, great, beautiful stuff, like beautiful stuff, beautiful.
We have a question from Larissa. Who is easier for you to write, Cat or Abby?
Abby all day long.
And
yeah,
why is that?
All day long. Because Abby's unfiltered. So Cat, because I wanted to give fans who are irritated or bothered by the amount of, F-bombs that I drop in any Abby book or any other swear word, because an F-bomb is my favorite word. I wanted to give them kind of a more cozy experience, right? So I wrote Cat and intentionally removed a lot of the expletives. But with Abby, she's just free to say whatever she wants at all times. So there's no point at which I hesitate. Like, I can't say that. I got to find another way to say that. So from that perspective, she's a lot easier for me to write. And Abby's also, I've been writing her since 2003. So like, she's me, I'm her, we have the same views of the world. Yeah. Cat is like Abby adjacent, Abby is me. So yeah, Abby for sure.
Awesome.
This giant mug. I feel like every time I pick it up, like my whole face disappears.
Mine felt big.
Tell me the next question. Huh?
I wanted a bigger mug, and my daughter handed me this. And I was like, I can make that work. Martha Olson is asking, any chance there will be a crossover with the Psychic Eye series like there was in Deadly Forecast?
Like crossover between Abby and Cat?
I'm going to assume yes.
That's something that I honestly have given a lot of thought to. At some point, I'm sure, but I don't know that it will be in the Life Coach Mysteries. It probably would be more in the Psychic Eye. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to come up with a good, the problem is that I have the story ideas for the next 3 Abbeys, and they are intense, to put it lightly. They are intense, and I can't have Abby dropping into Cat's life right now because she's going to be wrapped up in other stuff. So I got to kick those out, and once those have been kicked out, probably around the 7th or 8th book in this series, yeah, I'll bring Abby over. Why not? Abby can drive Cat crazy for once.
Love it.
Instead of the other way around.
And Cecilia's asking, so it sounds like you are writing more Abby books. When is the next one coming
out? I'm about I'm a little over a quarter of the way done, but it's not working, so I have to yank it apart again and redo it. I know where I want to get to, but it's not going there very readily or very easily. So I've got to try and pull it back, really get into it, because I'm writing it sort of here and there, and that's not a good process for me, honestly. But like I'll come up with an idea and I'll be like, oh, this might work, and I throw it on paper and then I leave it for a couple of weeks and then I come back to it. So I got to get this one out. There's another book that I have right after that. It's a YA that I've had in my mind for 5 years. And if I don't get that out on paper, I will spontaneously combust. I have to get it out on paper. And then once that's out, then the next outing. So I'm hoping early 2022 is when we'll see another outing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So like you're talking about these ideas that you've had in your head for a while. Where are you pulling that inspiration from? Where do you find it? Especially during a pandemic. How about that?
Right. I think it's, I think that I like to ponder kind of deep thoughts, right? So like the YA that I'm getting ready to write it's about a girl whose best friend is murdered, and she is trying to solve that murder. And the two girls are very, very different. River is super, super intelligent. She wants to be an astronaut. She's really into astrophysics and stargazing and everything celestial, right? And her best friend Haley, who was named after the comet, finds life's answers in astrology. So these two girls find answers in the stars in different ways. And I think I came that inspiration all came from, I'm a science and nerd geek. I love space shit. I love the fact that if you brought back a chunk of rock from outer space, it would smell like charred steak. And that's from the Big Bang. Like, I think that's fascinating. So it's a chance to kind of pull some of that in, but it's also a chance to kind of look at it from the perspective of patterns, how patterns repeat themselves constantly, right? So the universe is about creation and destruction constantly. And you see that drilled down even to the microorganisms. They live and they die, right? They're born and they die. And I think maybe the impetus, the original impetus for that was, I read all the stars, all the light we cannot see, right? Is that all the light? All the light we cannot see? Is that it? I can't remember. Anyway, that book. All the stars or all the light? I think it's all the light we cannot see, which is a brilliant book. Took the guy 10 years to write it, right? It's so phenomenal. And there's a scene where all the light we cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. There's a scene in the book where one of the characters is looking at a little snail stuck to a wall where the sea is coming in and kind of throwing them up on the wall and then taking them back out again. And he so deftly takes you to the spiral kind of out. There's a spiral staircase. And then, you think about the spiral in the solar system, and then you think about the spirals in the galaxy, and then you think about how the galaxy is kind of turning. So it's this pattern that's repeated on the macro and the micro level to like mind-blowing dimensions, right? So stuff like that I like thinking about stuff like that and trying to apply it in the form of a story that is more than just a story, right? There are these big kind of questions that you can ask and probably even get answered, or my interpretation can get answered. So yeah, that's where a lot of it comes from. I'm a curious person. I look shit up. I go down deep rabbit holes.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Don't ask me to research something, because I'll probably end up finding something that I'll have to go down that rabbit hole.
Right? Yeah, days get lost to that. Days get lost to it, but it's awesome. I know a little about a whole lot, and I like that.
Cecilia's asking, do you have your astrological chart read?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there was an old copy of something I had done maybe 20 years ago. I read Susan Miller's Astrology Zone every month because I love it. I think she is amazing. She's amazing. So astrologyzone.com for anybody who's curious. you can read your monthly horoscope, and she's like eerily spot on. It's really cool. So yes, and astrologyzone.com.
Awesome. Sherry is asking, will there be a sequel to A Spell to Unbind, Spellbound Book 1? I noticed you're blending your favorite word with mud. Laugh out loud.
What?
Muck.
What? I don't understand.
Sorry,
Muck.
she meant muck. I noticed you're blending your favorite word with muck.
Oh, what?
Let's go to the first part of the question. Will there be a sequel to A Spell to Unbind?
Yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. Yes. Yeah, and I think I'm going to do something like with all of those books. I think I'm going to do something fun with the titles, like A Trinket for the Taking, Think in the Making. You know, kind of like do like a little bit like that. But I have many books planned for Spellbound. I really love Esme. Like I love Esme. So yeah, I plan to have a good long fun time with her.
Awesome. All right. We talked about research. What did you have to do any research for this particular book at all?
I'm sure I did. I don't know that it was super specific.
Okay.
Usually for me, research like that is about location, you know, where certain things are, street addresses, stuff like that. You know, for every single book, there's something quirky that I'll look up. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I did have to do because her client is of, I think of Dutch royalty or Danish, can't remember. He's one of those two. So I had to research that whole family tree. That was 2 days lost to, like, you know, the royals of Denmark, you know. Bye-bye. Yeah. So stuff like that. Yeah.
Kara is asking, how many books ahead do you plan in a series?
I have like a direction for the overall story arc. But I don't know that I drill it down into like the specifics of this next book, the specifics of the book after that, the specifics of the book after that. I think mostly because there's just so much in this brain that if I started to do that, I don't know, I'd start drooling into a cup. I don't know that I could handle all that. So yeah, I just kind of have a feeling like, okay, I want to take this idea and I want to apply it. And I want to take that idea and I want to apply it. But other than that, it's not anything like super, I don't write anything down ever. Drives my agent crazy. He's like, oh, you should write that down. I'm like, yeah, I should. I won't, but I should. Yeah. It's all in here.
Yeah. Do you plan a specific number for each series? No, or you just keep going?
No. Like I don't plan, oh, this will be a 10-book series, right? I just kind of go, I will end it when I stop running out of ideas. So like for MJ, which is really the only series I've ever ended, I couldn't see beyond the 10th book. I just couldn't, it just felt like it would be redundant, you know, after that. And I really just wanted MJ to have, she'd been through so much. She'd been beaten up constantly, you know, scared, beaten up, pounded on, right? I just want to enter. She'd lost her mother, this very traumatic event that had affected her whole life. And I just wanted her to find some peace and happiness for the rest of her days. So I wanted to take her out of that very scary kind of role. Plus, that series was really hard to write. Like, it's really, really difficult to write a ghost story with a contemporary murder, right? Like that's tough. It may not sound tough, but you drill into it for 10 books and it's not easy, you know, you're going to start to repeat yourself. So yeah, I just was like, I can't anymore. So
that's awesome. I feel like I know the answer to this question. Deborah's asking, are you a planner or a pantser?
Pantser all day long. Yeah, my my editor at Kensington for this series wants an outline. Oh
How's
my
it
God.
going?
Don't even talk to me the week that I'm trying to do an outline. Don't even talk to me, because I am like, this is terrible. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I, put it down on paper, and then I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. And then I go do my own thing. Yeah. Oh, I hate it.
Just give them something that looks pretty.
Yeah. Well,
then
luckily for
don't.
this one, it was 12 Angry Men. It was like,
Yeah.
it's just like a really kind of quick synopsis. It didn't have to be 10 to 12 pages. Thank the baby Jesus. So yeah, I hate outlines, absolutely, because they're so restrictive, right? How do I know who did it? I haven't dived into these characters yet. How do I know the twists and turns? I have not written that yet.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that you don't know who did it. Like, that's awesome.
No,
I
yeah,
do hear
I
a
think,
lot of the time that they know who did it, and they know who what it was, and they know who did it, and they just have to fill in the blanks. But I love that mystery is there for you, because I think that reads well in your work for us on this end, right? That we're figuring it out just as much as you had to.
exactly. If I know, I'm probably going to subliminally tell you. You're probably going to be like, I'm going to say something, or a character's going to say something one way. You're going to be like, murderer,
Yep.
kind of like when you're watching any SVU show where the most famous character actor shows up, and you're like, he did it, kind of like that. Yep. So I figure if I can keep myself in the dark, I can keep you guys in the dark too.
Yeah, that's awesome, because normally if I can figure it out, I'll close the book early. Sorry, guys.
It's true. I do the same thing.
You gotta keep me guessing. And it's funny because
exactly.
I obviously have to read quite a few books for work, and I'll come in and I'll tell my boss or my coworker, hey, here's the book. I already know who did it. Let me know when you get to the end and make sure I'm right, but pretty sure I'm right.
Yeah, that drives me crazy too.
All right, we've got a couple of questions here, and then I have one more question. So 3 questions, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. So this is from Kara. Okay. Kara is asking, do you have a system to keep track of the personal details for your characters, your settings, etc.?
Yes. So I keep a character list, and like there's all sorts of stuff all over it. So I just keep a running character list. Mm-hmm. That these are my only notes. And then I'll scribble something down, and then eventually type it in on the character, like this is Coached in the Axe character list. So those are the only notes that I keep, but I do keep track of the details of who's related to who, where they're from, specific settings and locations, that kind of thing. Because, and it's really good actually for me to keep that, because sometimes there'll be something in a future book where I'll need a reference back, and I could just look up the character list and be like, oh yeah, that person. So yeah.
That's awesome. All right, and Julie's saying MJ's ending was very bittersweet, but you're right, she deserves to be happy. How did you come up with the new series with Cat and Gilly as far as matching them up?
Well, they were kind of matched up sort of at the end of MJ. If you remember, Gilly wanted Cat to plan his wedding, and so they were at the very end. That was purposeful, because I really did want at some point to get these 2 characters together and have them run off and do their own thing. So they first got together in Deadly Forecast, where Abby's kidnapped, and then you have that dual timeline going on. Trying to find Abby, she's strapped to a bomb. It's Gilly, MJ, and Dutch, and I think Candace all in a car trying to find where Abby is, right? And at one point, I think they ditch Gilly, and he goes back and hangs out with Cat. That was the first time that they were sort of introduced to each other, and I felt like they would be instant best friends. Like, they definitely would be like twinsies right away. So that was the very start of that pairing, and it just seemed like it was a natural fit, and I feel like it has been. I feel like it has been a natural fit, honestly. I love their pairing. I love writing Gilly. I think Gilly was one of the characters that I missed absolutely the most when I had to set him down. I was like, I miss him. He's my bud. So bringing him back around.
Awesome. So my final question is more about your life as a psychic. How did you start with that? And is it at all reflective in your work?
Yeah. So the endeavor with Abby was to try and explain to people how the psychic mind operates, how it works, right? And we've always been portrayed in movies and television as like crazy, right? And fainting, at the, vision, right? That comes into our mind. And it's so unfair because most of us, like most of the legitimate, good, solid intuitives, they're very normal people. You would never know that they are so professionally skilled. And I wanted to take the carnival show out of it. And I wanted kind of Abby to be not necessarily a soccer mom, but someone who could be a soccer mom, and I also wanted to educate the audience as to how that process evolves in our minds. So everything's a metaphor. Everything's a metaphor, right? So I get all of my information in the form of pictures and images. As an example, I was reading for one time, and I was like, I keep seeing the UK. Did your uncle go to we were talking about her deceased uncle, and I'm like, did he go to the UK? She's like, no. Did he want to go to the UK? No. Like, it was like I was trying every way, right? Every way.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a specific symbol, and I'm like, it represents the UK. And so finally I go, I don't know what to tell you. He keeps showing me Big Ben. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, he was 6'5" and his name was Ben. And we used to call him Big Ben. Right? So like, that's how it works. Sometimes it's so literal, and sometimes there's a little bit of a deeper meaning. But it's a language that is very colorful and kind of constantly evolving. So like any language is sort of constantly evolving. And for me, the psychic work that I do is it's its own story, right? Every person that comes to you has their own story. And it's fascinating to me to see how people's lives are now and how they'll shift, or sometimes how they won't. Sometimes how nobody's just like, well, you are stuck, girl. Ain't no change coming to you. And that was a lot of the pandemic. I was like, oh God, I can't do it anymore. I can't like tell someone like this isn't going to end for another year. But we're starting to see some change, which is good. So that's kind of how it evolved. I was the most reluctant intuitive you've ever met. I did not want to do this at all. I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't want the creepy factor. I didn't want to be looked at, and I still struggle. I just started dating a guy. He's super cute. I really like him. He has no idea that I'm intuitive, and I am not telling him. I'm not telling him. Okay. I'm not doing it. He'll figure it out. I know he will, because they all Google me.
Hi, buddy.
So yeah, I know, right? He's watching right now. He's like, what? Lose my number. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah. So I keep that stuff on the down low because people have their preconceived notions about who I am and what I do. And I can try and tell them, no, that's not how I am. I'm actually this way. But you're trying to overcome, however old they are, all of that stereotypical thinking. Okay, this is like, she's cuckoo, right? Yeah. But what was interesting tonight was I was having a conversation with him, and just to kind of fill you audience in, he got a call this morning from his daughter. His daughter had spent the night at a friend's house. She came home and her house had been broken into, and only her room, because she lives with her mother who moved back to a different state. But anyway, she comes home. The only room that is absolutely ransacked is hers. There's blood on the walls. Someone has left a pair of jeans outside covered in blood. And, you know, of course she freaks out, calls the police. And they believe that probably someone was like the guy that I'm saying, his theory was, well, you know, I think that maybe one of the girls at her work, she works at a bar, had a problem with her and she sent her boyfriend over and he ransacked the place. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. That's cute, but that's not what happened. Here's what happens. Boom, 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 boom. And he goes, so funny you say that. He goes, because that's what the detective said he thought. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, give it 3 days and they'll find this guy. Give it 3 days and they will find this guy. So that'll be a fun conversation.
Yes, but I'm also glad they'll find the guy. Wonderful. So if people want to find out what's next for you, when these wonderful books you talked about tonight are coming out, or maybe book you for a session,
yes.
How do they do these things?
You can go to, actually my fan page is usually, I have 2 pages on Facebook that I pretty regularly update. There's my author page, so you can find Victoria Laurie author or author Victoria Laurie, or you can do the fans of Victoria Laurie. I update those pretty regularly. I was bad this summer. I took a break from social media this summer and it was the best thing I could have done, because I just needed like, okay, I was too far down the Twitter hole and the Facebook hole and I'm like, I'm not getting anything done. So I pulled back, but I'm back babies. So those would be the places. You can always go to my website. My website it really needs to be torn down and redone. And that is not something I'm excited to do at any future point because it's going to be on me. I'm going to have to do that. So you can go there. Maybe it'll be updated. You can try there.
All your contact information is on there. I did check. Your contact information is all on there. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop.
Exactly. If you wanted to book a session, you just push a button and you can book a session with me. I'm also offering Intuition 101 classes again, starting September 19th for 4 weeks. So if you want to learn how to do what I does, I will teach you. Lots of practice, lots of hands-on kind of stuff. It's fun. Awesome. Fun class.
I also dropped the link. The book actually drops tomorrow. So this is like a look into Coached in the Act. So you can get your book tonight. You can pre-order it and it'll go in the mail either tomorrow or Wednesday. Or you can pick it up in stores. Stores are all open. Whatever works for you. Buy a copy for yourself and buy a copy for a friend. But yeah, thank you so much, Victoria. This has been
my
so fun
pleasure.
To talk to you again.
Oh, my pleasure, Samantha. Anytime. Seriously, anytime.
Can we really try to not do this over Zoom next time? Okay, let's really try. Let's.
Oh my God! Right?
Send all the positive energy into the world.
I will be coming in hot. I'll be coming in hot. Give me a hug, baby. Give me a hug.
It'll be great.
All right, everyone, and I'll send you the powerlifting info too.
Yes, that'd be awesome. And that tea information too. You're just recommending all the things tonight, so it's all good.
I know a little about a lot.
Perfect. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Could I add Zoom for those of us out of state? I don't know what that means, Sherry, but we can ship to out of state. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but if not, you can email me through Eventbrite and I can try to get the answer for you. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you everyone for watching.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm clapping because you can't hear all the clapping, so I'll clap for you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
You too, guys. Take care.
See you next time.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Samantha. Thank you. Okay.